I feel like through the department, we can look at different processes and different avenues with our homeless population and our law enforcement and our community. I think that doing this position through the department gives the ability to pave the way, and we can create much more change.
One Utah city has a unique approach to helping its unsheltered population.
Homeless Services Advocate Office in the Ogden Police Department.
Bridge the gap between the needs of the homeless population and the services of the police department.
The relationship with the police department doesn't end.
The program started 2 years ago. It's been so successful that
Ogden's homeless outreach is embedded in law enforcement, which is unlike any other Utah city.
After 4 years of this program, we wanted to get the perspectives of the officers that started working with me when I began the program 4 years ago versus today.
It created a way for us to help them without just consistently arresting them or citing them.
We also knew that there were officers back then that couldn't see the bigger vision of what we were trying to do, and they were very resistant.
I think at first I was a little hesitant.
I wasn't fully understanding of what it was.
I was very negative about it.
I thought, okay, here's some more people that don't understand what we do.
I clumped it in with every other outlet that there is.
I didn't see that it was of any use to me, at least when I got here.
It just sounded like a group that went out and talked to people.
And I thought that we needed to take a harsher stance and approach with the homeless community.
They're going to think that we don't care about the people, that we're not trying a million things before we have to go to law enforcement.
I just didn't think it would really work.
But I was proven wrong.
Now I realize that it's more than that.
I found that it was an extremely useful resource, especially for patrol officers.
It's been a great benefit to us for sure.
It's been easy, like it's so seamless.
I've noticed a dramatic difference in our homeless population, the resources that are available to them, and them being housed now, and just how we are able to deal with them for now versus then.
We embedded social services within community policing, and I quickly realized the importance of the two and how it only worked when you had them together, because safety is hugely important for everyone involved, and building relationships into systems that don't normally have relationships only worked the way we created it.
I think it's a more well-rounded view of how people are impacted, because sadly it is a police involvement.
As homelessness continues to grow as a problem, we're dealing with homeless individuals a lot.
As police, you know, we're typically the first interaction with these people.
Well, I think the part that screams to me is when you guys say the law enforcement have the most contact with our homeless population.
As far as law enforcement, it's tough when you're on the enforcement side and you're just seeing that, you know, they're causing problems and we're constantly getting called there and you don't really know what's going on with them. It's just more of a Band-Aid fix.
We try to, you know, counsel, but there's only so many options available to us, and we still have to help the citizenry with whatever they're dealing with. So it's kind of always a balancing act.
There was just no trust. People would kind of walk away. They didn't want to be a part of it. They didn't trust us. Once we started getting the program going and they saw, okay, they're actually here trying to help us, you know, then they would come to us and actually greet us and talk to us. So
the connection that we have with them and the advocates just gives us another way to communicate with them.
People don't understand that law enforcement is the first line of contact for our unsheltered. And in order to make this work, we needed to change our mindsets within the department, within the social service agencies, and within the unsheltered.
Early in my career in Ogden, specifically with the type of transient issues that the city experiences, I leaned very heavily on the justice side because everybody I interacted with seemed to not care, or when they were given resources, they didn't necessarily follow through.
Before I was an officer, homelessness was all the same.
I was not very compassionate before. I had a really negative view of our unsheltered population.
It's easy to look at people and go, they're a horrible person, right? But when you have to look at some people's lives and you find out that they're caring, compassionate people also have had events in their life that have pushed that.
I find that I frequently come in contact with people who are just down on their luck or have had things happen to them where they don't know where to go and they don't know how to access resources. They don't know what to do. And to be able to contact those people and say, I have somewhere for you to go or somebody for you to talk to, has changed how I think about it and how I do my job when I come in contact with it.
Personally, I feel like I've kind of, grown more towards their side as well.
I've been able to see their mental illness as it is.
It's not hopeless. I think that's kind of how I felt before, was a lot of these people are choosing this lifestyle. It's hopeless. If they wanted something different, they would do something different. And now working with HSAs, I realize that there's a lot of hoops to jump through and a lot of these people just don't know how to do it.
They help me understand my victims more, but they can also help victims understand us. They create that bridge. And I think it honestly is a more positive outcome.
I honestly feel like it's given me personally more compassion.
Those connections with the people have been some of the most rewarding of my life, actually,
It's easy when you're an officer and you're dealing with these, like I said, you just see it as a problem. It's a problem I gotta fix. When you start to get into the other side of it and you start seeing them as humans and people who, had a rough life and maybe they didn't choose this for them, you're more apt to want to help them.
And having somebody in their corner and an advocate there for them makes a huge difference.
In doing the outreach and working hand in hand with the unsheltered has created this amazing shift, right? Because now they see people and the unsheltered see people.
Now I think you're out there to help me.
This is the best team I've ever seen in my life.
As far as Ogden Police and as far as the city and everybody that has helped me with the housing and with getting my housing, I cannot say enough. I'm just so happy.
So if I could do this, most anybody could do this.
And if you could tell other people to do this program, would you?
I do all the time.
And tell me why you tell them.
You guys help me.
We had to get to this medium where everyone could learn trust and compromise. And I think that comes from law enforcement being part of the HSA program, because we can build those pathways. We don't want people to judge our unsheltered, but yet we judge law enforcement. And that creates the barrier to make change possible.
Because of the work that is being done with our homeless service advocates, it's made them trust law enforcement a little bit more, because they know that they're not necessarily going to be hammered in the criminal justice system, that they're going to be provided resources that are going to help them make their lives better if they want to make their lives better.
Kind of the way that I looked at it when I got into it is like, that could be anybody that's homeless. That could be me, that could be a family member. How would I want an officer to treat my family member?
I think it's been extremely effective because, again, we go back to accountability. There's a lot of programs out there for the homeless, for transients, for people kind of in between.
To be able to contact those people and say, I have somewhere for you to go or somebody for you to talk to who can actually help you if you're willing to be helped, has changed how I think about it and how I do my job when I come in contact with it.
Ultimately, it's going to be their decision in the end, whether they want the help or can use the help.
If they're willing to show up and try to help themselves, then this program has unlimited resources to be able to help them do that.
There's accountability on their part. They have certain things they need to follow through with, and they understand if they're not holding to those standards that, they're going to potentially lose what they're working so hard for.
Once we got the program going and we got to know a lot of these people and you start to see kind of where they came from, it made a difference.
If somebody wants to take the step forward and to be better, they're given every opportunity, and I've seen them have success.
All these pieces that we never considered could be part of this program when we started, that it's evolved to. And I love that these officers know that Nancy and I are available for them, and we will help them however we can. We will figure out what the missing piece is.
There are multiple people that I can think of on hand that, when given the services and opportunities that the HSA program has offered, that their lives have turned around completely?
I think it's definitely been beneficial. I mean, before, we were just taking people to jail or the hospital, and it was just kind of a repeated cycle. But now that we have a third option, using the advocates to figure out what's next instead of just continuing that cycle has been beneficial.
Day or night, I call them for just advice on what to do on certain situations. I've been able to actually call them out when I have a situation where I feel like a law enforcement action is not going to help the situation at all.
That level of gratitude was something a little more special. So,
Ogden City has been proactive and responsive, adaptive. We've actually just evolved by the willingness of everyone within the city to come together and see that we could create better pathways. It's not somebody else's problem, it's all of ours to solve together. And I think we do a very good job of that.
Ogden as a whole pushes boundaries to do new things, and I think it's cool that we are the first people in this county and most of the Wasatch, in my understanding, that we're doing this, and it's obviously having a positive effect.
I would say it's an integral part of code services. It's definitely, I feel, a requirement, something that we need and have to have. It's been just a huge benefit to our department as well as the entire community.
Ogden is already a very diverse place and has its own set of very diverse challenges. I don't think that without this program, there would be any good avenues for law enforcement to take when it comes to dealing with these types of issues. I know that other agencies have reached out and tried to learn about this because they don't have it and they see that the good that's coming to our department from it. This is something that I can preferably use to be able to actually help this person, which is what this job is about. It just makes it so much harder when I don't have that kind of access to resources or benefits or training that our HSA team does have.
The connection that we have with them and the advocates just gives us another way to communicate with them.
Agencies or places that don't utilize that, if it is a possibility for them, I think it's kind of lacking in that manner of even their investigative ability.
I do feel like we have a leg up on other departments. And I have spoken with people, with homeless or unsheltered individuals from other communities, and they have mentioned that they don't have homeless service advocates from, where they're from. And they've said, well, what is that? And what does that mean for me? And are you still able to help me even if I don't live within Ogden, borders? So. And
now that I'm more invested in it and deal with it a lot more, I get to see the true benefits that we have and that the homeless people of Ogden get to benefit from.
It shifts the whole culture and it helps everyone across the board. It helps the unsheltered, it helps the officer, it helps the community at large. It's a win-win.
I definitely think that it's a benefit that our officers have taken advantage of.
I would feel if I went to another department that didn't have this, that I was missing a pretty crucial tool to be able to help people.
Absolutely. I don't know how there is a single municipality, whether it be county, city, or otherwise, that could operate efficiently and morally without an HSA. It's just the right thing to do. It's a reassuring thing for any of the departments to be able to know, hey, at the end of the day, when I go home, I know our community is safe. I know we've been able to help somebody get somewhere to stay and somewhere to live. So absolutely, I think every single community needs to have an HSA.
I have learned and seen and felt so much love and so much compassion from our officers, from Anna, from everybody at Ogden City Police Department. It's been unreal how much they truly care about each other and those that we serve.
This can work for anybody, any area, any jurisdiction. It's really about looking at the system and advocating, how do we change the system? And that starts by seeing human beings in there, right? It starts with individuals across those systems and advocating without ignorance involved in that advocating. I see a lot of times where officers are blamed, but they're doing their jobs. We need to look at the whole human across systems and figure out how we help on both sides. Does that make sense?